At the age of 5, I wanted to go to school. Because I was alone, my brother was at school, my sister was at school, and we had a housekeeper by the name of Minnie who took care of me. My mother worked in the shop, and I wanted to get out into school. Unfortunately, they wouldn't accept me until you had to be 6 years old before you start sub-A. And I was only 6 years old at the 28th of February, and school started in January. So they wouldn't take me. And I started crying and performing at home. And my late mother went to see the principal, and she came back with great news that seeing there was only 6 weeks, they would accept me that year to school. And there I started from sub-A at the junior school, called the Stolting Primary School, and the name Stolting was the name of the Dominie of Humansdorp, which means he was the #1 resident. Although I was only 6 years old, I was working in the shop after school. The reason being, I had enough of home and I wanted to get to the shop because I loved people and I loved selling to people when they came in for 6pence of coffee and 6pence of sugar and whatever the small things were which we sold in Humansdorp. And that also saved my parents from having another assistant.
You were only 6 years old though. How did you deal with all the money?
It wasn't all that money. The money came in and I learned very quickly. They gave you a two pound piece and you gave them change. Or, you know, as I say, in those days it was 6pence a cycle or shillings a cycle, and it was 10-1. When the shillings and then you got into pounds, that's before rands and cents came in. So you learned very quickly, and I obviously did make the odd mistake, which was rectified. My late father came out of his office and apologized on my behalf. And it was great. I used to enjoy it.
Did that experience in the shop help you become a salesman later on in life?
It made me. I enjoyed selling.
Yeah.
I was successful at it because I followed the rules of my late father. Be honest, don't cheat anybody, and don't push anything onto anybody that they can't afford to pay for. And make sure that what you sell them is what they need. Don't sell them for the sake of selling, coming back and showing off that you are a great guy. You work, and when people come and ask for sugar or coffee or cigarettes or whatever, sell them what they want. Ask them, is there anything else I can sell you? Anything else you might be needing? But not, you know, you must have this and you should have that. And I didn't, and they enjoyed my treatment, and I had quite a big following as a little boy. As I grew up, I was in the shop until I had left matric. And then my parents were getting older, and my late father had heart problems, and they wanted me to take the shop over. I was 17. And they said, you can have the shop for nothing, just take it over, and in 10 years' time you'll be the mayor of Humansdorp. I said, Mom and Dad, I don't want to be any mayor. I just want to get out of there. this village. I want to go to town and I want to sell and I want to make a success of selling in my life. I was absolutely adamant that I wasn't going to stay in Humansdorp.
Why?
Because it was a dead one-horse town and I wanted more excitement and I wanted to live a little and see more of the world. It was about the first week of January. An owner of a factory in Cape Town came to Humansdorp selling dresses to my late mother in the dress shop. And she said to him, "Haven't you got a job for my son?" He says, well, maybe he's a bit young. She says, "No, he's not quite so young. Might be young in age, but he's good." So the guy asked me a few questions. I answered him and I was polite and what have you. And he said, "I'll discuss it with my brother. And you'll have to come to Cape Town. And the conditions will be that you must have a car and you will work in commission only. And if he doesn't work and bring the business, of course he knows, he doesn't get money and he cannot live." So I said, "That challenge, Ma, I'll accept." Fortunately, my parents had 2 cars at that time. And I said, "When can I see your brother together with you?" Bit of a chutzpah, but he said, "I'll phone you within a week." Within 3 days he phoned and he gave us a date, and my mother and I got in the car and we went to Cape Town, and I went for an interview with my sister's wedding suit that I had. I had one suit which they bought for me when my sister got married, because the suit I wore for my bar mitzvah was my brother's suit, the oldest brother, and I was a bit plumpish and he was thin, and I wore his suit for the bar mitzvah, and I had a suit made for my sister's wedding. And that's all I had to leave home with. Off I went with my suit, to get ready for the interview, with a red botany tie. I remember that's what you had to wear. It was the in thing. And I had a pair of suede shoes, which I bought. I went to the interview and they asked me, "How old are you now, really?" I said, "Well, 21. I didn't ask for any, when you left school or anything, "What did you do?" I said, "I was 21 and spent my life, few years out of school, selling."
So you lied?
Yeah. White lie. Because the guy that I took over from, he was useless. I mean, he just couldn't sell. And I was born selling small things, but from small things get big things. Anyhow, they said, "Right, you can start next week. Terms are 7.5% commission. Don't sell, you don't eat." Rangers come out 2 to 3 a year. You come to Cape Town and pick them up. We show you what gives, and you go out and you sell. And obviously, if you don't make a success within the first 6 months, then we have to think of changing and be prepared.
What were you actually selling at the time?
The new owners manufactured ladies' coats, overcoats, ladies' jackets, and ladies' dresses. Women. And my late mother had in Humansdorp a section, an own shop, selling those things, and she was quite a nice customer of theirs. So that gave me a push.